Hi there, it's Paul Carman with you for this lesson, and this lesson is about getting you to start thinking about being a little bit more creative with your playing and how you use your keyboard. Now, I'm set here on my brand new Genos 2, the Yamaha Genos 2, and I'm going to use this to illustrate this little lesson for you. But whatever keyboard you have, this will work. So rest assured, this is not just for Genos 2 owners. We're all becoming quite dependent, really, on automatic intros and endings. And why wouldn't we be? They're absolutely fantastic. If I take this Yamaha Genos 2 as an example, I could spend hours and hours and hours just going through some of the fantastic intros and endings that they've given us. And I would say 95% of the time, yeah, that's what I'm going to use. And as I said earlier, why wouldn't you? They are so good. But from time to time, I think it's nice to be a little bit more creative, a little bit different, and maybe have a go at creating your own intro and ending, not from a button, but actually by playing it. What we're going to look at today is just a very simple, in fact, the simplest form of intro that I can think of. So we're going to be bypassing the automatic intro. Now, as I said, this is just to give you a nice, refreshing change from time to time and make you actually think a little bit more about the pieces and the way you actually play them. So what do we need for an intro? Well, to make it interesting, the minimum requirement is 2 chords. And well, I'm going to use the simplest way that I can show you. We're going to do this in the key of C because that will keep it as easy as possible. Use first and fourth. What do I mean by that? Well, the first in the scale of C is a C. So our first chord will be C. Let's go to the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Takes us to F. So I know that C to F, back to C, back to F will give us a nice basis for a 4-bar intro. If you're doing it in any other key, it still works. So for instance, if you were in the key of G, G would be your first chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. C would be your second chord. So you can take the first and the fourth scale chord of the key that you're playing in. So we could do C to F, back to C, back to F. And to illustrate that, I've chosen on the Genos here standard piano ballad. And the reason I've chosen this is because it's not what I call an intrusive style. It doesn't suggest one particular piece of music. It's a nice, really very playable style that we can use for lots and lots of piano ballad type music. If you have a Genos 2 and you want to know where it is, it's in the easy listening category on page 3, and there it is, standard piano ballad. So if we start our rhythm going, I'm going to use the synchro start. I'm going to do 1 bar on C chord, 1 bar on F, back to a bar on C, back to a bar on F. What you will notice on that last bar of F, I will engage the break button because that gives us a nice bridge to take us from our intro into the main bit of the tune. And when you hear that break, somehow it tells you that the intro's coming to an end and we're going somewhere else, i.e. into the main part of the tune. So just have a listen. This is in its absolute basic form. I'm going to play C chord to F chord. And we're into playing our piece. Now, it's nice, it works, but it's not that dynamic, is it? You know, we probably want something a little bit more interesting than that. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is take our chords up a notch. What do I mean by that? Well, instead of just playing a basic C major, make it a major seventh. So in the case of C, we're going to add the B into it because that's the major seventh. In the case of the F chord, we're going to add an E into it. Now, I'm playing these in root position. Obviously, you can play them in whatever inversion you want. But in the case of C here, we've got C, E, G, and the B at the top. And then when we move to F major 7, remember the word face, F-A-C-E. Now, I'm just going to play it again. I'm going to give you 2 bars, just using basic major chord. Then I'm going to change to the major 7. Just see if you can hear that. It's a subtle difference, but it gives it that more professional edge straight away. So this is the basic C and F chord. Now we're going to go to C major 7 and F major 7. It is a very subtle change, but the change is there. It's made it a lot more interesting. So that's our chord sorted. What are we going to do with the right hand? Well, if you've watched Andy's video this month, he talks about the power of the ninth. And we're actually going to include that in our little phrasing up here. So our first chord is C. Let's just play a C chord on the right hand in the root position. So C, E and G. But actually, you know, I don't need this C note because A, we've already got it in the chord because it's a C based chord. And the bass line will be playing a C bass as well. So do I need another C up here? Probably not. So that leaves us with our 3rd and 5th of the chord. Now, Andy talked about the 9th being the same as the 2nd. So if we leave our root note out, the 2nd note is the next note up, which is the D. So let's flick off the D to go to the 3rd, which is the E. Just do that again for you. Now let's translate that to F chord. So if we play our F in the root position, we don't need the root note for reasons we explained a moment ago. So we're left with the 3rd and the 5th of the chord. So there's our 2nd. It's the 1 note up from the root note. And we'll do the same again. We'll flick off that. So we've got So again, yeah, we're calling it the 2nd note because it's easier, but it's actually relating to what Andy talked about, the power of the 9th. So let's put those 2 together. It sounds like this. Okay, we're starting to build up something a little bit more interesting now. But maybe instead of doing the same phrase all the time, let's look at one more thing. C major 7. C, E, G and B. And we've already said we don't need to keep duplicating the C up here. So let's take the top 3 notes, B, G and E. And let's do the same with F major 7. Our top 3 notes would be E, C and A. So we could do something like that. Let's put that together with our chords. And then we're into our tune again. You probably notice I just made it octaves and I just flicked off the bottom note first. Again, just makes it a little bit more interesting. Then we could mix and match the 2 phrases, and that would make it even more interesting. power it to the tune. This is relatively simple to do. You need to have a go at it, but it's what you will basically do over a period. You will build up some little phrases that work on the right hand, and you'll end up with this little filing cabinet full of little mini phrases, sometimes called motifs. And what you do when you're putting your own intro together, you mix and match them to keep it interesting all the time. So I hope you can see the purpose of having a go at this, and I'd like to think you will have a go at it, and it ties in quite nicely with Andy's video again. So thanks for watching. Just a brief look there at how to create your own intro.